Thank you. We are today with Dr. Vigneshwar Bhat. Vigneshwar is an assistant professor in the Amrita Darshanam, which is the International Center for Spiritual Studies at the Amrita School of Arts and Sciences in Mysuru. He is also working as an assistant professor at the Department of Languages at the same School of Arts and Sciences in Mysuru, and a founder of Samhithaa Trust and Sadhanaganga, which are focusing on life education guidance. So this is a brief introduction of who Vigneshwar is. And I met him, or we met each other in one of my trips to Mysuru. I had the privilege to study chanting and philosophy with him. And I thought to invite him on this podcast today. I thought that would be a great idea. So thank you so much, Vigneshwar, for making time for this.
I'm happy to be with you in this podcast.
Very nice. I'm very glad that you could make it. In the introduction, I mentioned how you are the founder of Samhithaa Trust and Sadhanaganga, which focus on life education guidance. And I remember something that you mentioned in one of our online sessions, which is the most of all the training that you get in life is about your professional life, but there is not much training on how to live, like giving people like real life guidance. And I thought that was brilliant, actually. I think it's a good place to start a conversation with you about the art of living. How do you think that what you teach can help people like me, for example, or people listening? How can they benefit studies like chanting, Sanskrit, philosophy? How can their lives improve?
Yes. So thank you for the wonderful question. Yeah. Actually, I like teaching, not to teach, to learn. So always I teach to learn. So as I'm teaching to the people, I'm able to learn a lot of things. So every time whenever I'm teaching, I'm not really teaching, I'm learning a lot. So that's the reason I tell most of the time, my friends and students are my teachers because they made me teacher. So my passion is teaching from morning to evening. You may heard that the great sage called Swami Vivekananda, he says that rest is changing the action. It means, so you are doing something, that action you are changing and doing another action. That is called as rest. In the same way, I may teach sometime philosophy. Then after some time, I will start teaching chanting. Then after some time, I may start teaching Sanskrit. So that what happens, I will be able to change the action. So I will be able to relax with the different actions like this. So as you have asked, how you feel by teaching this kind of things for the common people, how you'll be able to teach this, and what is the benefit of both the people, teacher and student maybe. So first of all, I'm very happy nowadays yoga is not restricted to the only mat. People are thinking about the off the mat yoga. So previously, maybe if you ask 15 years back, people are more know about the on the mat of yoga, not off the mat of the yoga. Now people are trying to understand the off the mat of the yoga when it comes to the chanting, philosophy, learning Sanskrit, and knowing about the rituals, and knowing about all the ancient scriptures, which is considered as the root of yoga. I'm very happy to have the students who are all going deep in it. I'm very fortunate. The people who are all filtered, they will come to me. So they are practicing the asana from long time.
Yeah.
Then they understood that we need not stop here, we need to go to deeper. So those kind of people come to me. So I can see that from 2014, most of the people who are coming to me, at least they have 6 to 7 years of asana practice, then they are coming to me. Most of the people are, they are very good teachers in their field, they are very good asana teachers, and they know the philosophy and chanting. They want to deep root in it. There's a reason they are coming to me. There's a reason I'm very fortunate to have the students who are all having the lot of maturity in this field.
That's well, congratulations. That's great for you. Like having like dedicated and serious students. I think it's every teacher's dream. So if you got that, that's fantastic. I remember one of my peers told me once, I don't think it's always the case, but she told me you get the students as a teacher that you deserve. I would say you get the students that you need. And to me, it kind of ties back to what you said. Like, when you're teaching, you're really learning. If this makes any sense. So you get the students that are going to teach you precisely what you need to learn.
Yes.
Better or worse. That's what you get to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember Vigneshwar when I attended your sessions in person, in my last 2 trips in Mysuru, that's when I got in touch with you, and some of my friends were going to you. I thought that your chanting was really good. You're a fantastic teacher. I appreciate that very much, because it's like finding a good chanting teacher, someone that can teach you the mantras and the pronunciation and also the background and the highs and the lows. It's not easy. And I think you do wonderful. But also something that I found really life-changing, if you like, it's your insight. Like, why am I chanting this? What is this for? What's the deeper meaning of that? And that kind of, when you're in Mysore, I think you're doing all this yoga, only doing yoga, and you usually don't have to go to work. And so, not for everyone, but that was at least my situation, just being in Mysore doing yoga. So you get the time to reflect and to ponder, and I found very useful all of your sessions and everything that you taught, to see in a way nourished or inform my asana practice.
Yeah.
Tell us about how you got started. How you got interested in Sanskrit and philosophy and chanting.
Yeah, this is a good question. Actually, if I tell the story, it may take some episodes. I born and brought up in the family where people study traditionally. My father also studied Vedas, and in profession he is a farmer. So my village is very remote area. We don't have the connectivity there. If I have to purchase a half a kilo salt, at least I have to travel 30 kilometers. So it is very remote area. We were not having the connectivities and all. After my 4th standard, I started to stay in the different houses for my education. Up to 4th standard, I stayed with my parents. Then for 5th standard, I stayed in the another house. And up to 10th standard, I studied in the modern education system. So which talks about the livelihood education, or which talks about the formal education. So I was not much interested. And my father is a good spiritual practitioner. Every morning he gets up early and does all the recitations and the practices. And that samskara, that impression was there in my mind. But I was not really interested about that. So after my 10th standard, my father told that you have to go to the traditional school where you can study Sanskrit and all other Vedas and all. But I was not very interested because I know that Vedic study is very difficult. It's not an easy task.
Yeah.
But some people, they say that person who failed in the modern education, he will go to the Vedic studies. But it is totally different. When you go to the Vedic studies, you'll understand how difficult this. Initially, I struggled a lot because the traditional education system is 100% particular. It is, you have to be very particular in the studies. So if you want to get the pass mark, it is 100 out of 100. So there is no concept like a 90 you got, you pass. You have to get 100 out of 100, that is passing mark. So that is the system of the ancient traditional education system. 2 years, I struggled a lot. To be honest, we were 64 students in my class. I was the last bench and I was very poor in studies. I was not able to catch up anything. And one day I met my teacher and just asked, I think I have to leave this education because I'm not able to get anything in this. 2 years I'm studying this, but I'm not able to understand or I'm not able to get any success in this field. I want to leave. Then my teacher told, don't worry, you have to practice what you are learning. So the scripture says, get up early morning, do this, recite this mantras. So have this kind of sattvic food. Everything is there in the scriptures. Whatever you are studying intellectually, try to implement in your life so that you'll be able to gain the knowledge. That's how my teacher told. Believe me, that is my turning point. Whatever scripture says, I started to practice. So morning, get up 3 o'clock, do all the mantra chanting and the practices and the meditation, and only the sattvic food, which is prepared with the sattvic mind in the proper place with the proper system. And even my head was shaved small, the shika, the things was there. So I tried to practice all the things. You believe or not, within 3 years, the entire system has been changed. I was never expected that in my life. So 3 years of hardcore study I completed. Then I moved to the 5 years. The first 2 years was not successful. Then 3 years was very successful. Some people were telling that moving library or mobile library, because my habit was like that. I was not ready to touch the book for any reason. So everything I have to memorize. So I was able to memorize not because of me, the teaching system as well as the practice which is enshrined in the Vedic system. And later I moved to the philosophy study in Mysuru. There is the traditional college called Maharaja Sanskrit Pathashala. My teacher, he was the Professor Narayan Adiga. So his life was like the guidance. More than teaching, his life was kind of the book for us. So our class used to start at 7:30 in the morning, but he was there all the time 7:29. So we need not see the watch when he is there in front of the door. It is definitely 7:29. His time system and his practice, everything was very accurate. That made me a lot practice and implement the things in my life. And because of this hardcore studies, I was having a lot of interest to study. So group of people, morning 3 o'clock, we used to get up because I experienced the taste of the practice. I was struggling first 2 years, then 3 years, my development I understood. So if I go in this field, definitely I will able to experience lot of things. So group of people, morning 3 o'clock, we used to get up, and lot of mosquitoes in the that area. There was no light inside the room. We used to come on the terrace of the building. There was the street light which used to come on the terrace. We were having the mosquito net. We are tying there. Inside the mosquito net, we used to sit 3 people and recite the Vedas and try to memorize. And that's how we practiced a lot. But finally, because of all this tapas, because of all the God graces, I have represented Karnataka state in national level several philosophical debates and secured the gold medal for the state and got the honor from the governor and all. These are the things was not expected in my life. All these things started to come to me because of this chanting and the practice which I do. So that's the reason always I say the mantras are kind of the charger. So you connect yourself with the supreme consciousness, you will be recharged, and whatever you're expecting, that will start to run behind you. So only the thing is we need to practice with the dedication without having any expectation. Because if you expect, your expectation is restricted. Only this much you expect. But when you are practicing with the dedication without expecting, more than your expectation will start to fall on you. I never expected starting the institution, working in the university, guiding the students in the research, and talking in English to the Westerns. Never ever. Because all these practices made me to come up to this level.
There are a few things that I would like to discuss with you, or you can probably elaborate on. For example, and you've mentioned them, all of them. For example, when we think of practice, yoga practitioners, we always think of asana practice. We just don't think of something like chanting, mantra practice. And I believe that mantra is very powerful and very mysterious as well. But firstly, especially for us, that come from the West, they're different letters and they just don't match together. We don't know how to read it. We don't know how to chant it. But it's true that your internal state changes. And to do that, accuracy is very important. And that's something that I see, for example, every session that we have, you are always on the dot. You never connect, not 1 single minute late. It's always like, boom, it's like 2 o'clock, that's 2 o'clock, not past 2. And I can see that rigor in your teaching as well. I believe, this is my assumption, maybe you can now elaborate. But I believe that comes from this accuracy that is needed when you are reciting a mantra. Also, this tapas, this discipline, this fire, if you like, of this mantra practice, which is very real. So maybe you can tell us a bit about the power of mantras and the importance of accuracy and practice for us to open our minds to something that it's not only asana.
Yes. The wonderful question. So maybe 1 or 2 sentences I will add and I will explain about the mantra before going to that. Okay. Most of the time people, they ask, I want to practice yoga or I want to practice meditation. More than that, people say that I want to practice spirituality. But always I tell the people, don't practice yoga, don't practice spirituality. Because when you say, I practice yoga, I practice spirituality, you are restricting your time for the practice. So if you say, I want to live spiritually, I want to live yogically, then what happens? 24 hours is yours. So you need not restrict yourself. So that's the reason the practice should be like that. Now I'm teaching, I'm speaking to you. In this, my dedication, and the practice, I should meditate with the topic. So then I have to speak. Then real experience will come here. So in the same way, whenever we want to become the strong spiritual practitioners, rather than restricting ourselves with the practice, we need to live with that. That's very important. The ancient education system, especially the traditional education system, made us to get this accuracy. The system is like that. So now let me give the introduction and the kind of the glory and the beauty and the illumination of the mantra. So most of the time we say mantra, mantra, mantra. What is this mantra? So people just think that the melodious sentence which makes us enjoy some rhythm, so that is mantra. Not really. The mantra is kind of the letter or the word or the sentence which protects your mental modification. That is called as mantra. Directly it is connected to the mind. If you take the Yoga Sutra, Yogaschitta Vritti Nirodhaha. What is yoga? Yoga is kind of the practice if you take, which is avoiding your mental modification, which restrains your mind, which makes your mind focused. Mantra also same. That's the reason you can say the mantra is yoga. So yoga and mantra is not different. And that's the reason always I say the letter or the word or the sentence which protects your mind, which purifies your mind, and which increases the strength of the mind, that is called as mantra. This world is not just the spiritual world. In the spirituality, people are having the faith, but we need to know the scientific evidence about this. So how mantras are affecting on the mind. Let me explain a little bit about that. The mind, the mantra is kind of the sound. So it is kind of sound. I'm speaking now, you are able to listen my sound, speech. And when I chant, you are able to listen the same sound. What is this sound? What is how this sound is coming out of the mouth? Let us try to understand. Sound is the modification of our breath. Sound is the modification of our breath. After exhalation, you cannot speak. You cannot chant. As you are chanting, you are using your breath. If you don't have the breath, you cannot chant. When you are chanting, what happens? You are using the proper amount of the breath. Your breath is getting channelization. Your breath is carved. Your breath has the kind of the form. So you are using the certain amount of the breaths. For example, you are chanting Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So when you are chanting this, 32 letters you are pronouncing. To pronounce 32 letters, you need certain amount of the breath. So unknowingly, you are doing the Bahikumbhaka, the pranayama. The letters are taking care of your breath. Then what happens? When your breath is controlled, naturally your mind will be controlled. There's the beautiful text which is written by Swatma Ram, Hatha Yoga Pradipika. It says, Chalevate chalam chittam, nischale nischalam bhavet, yogi sthanutvam apnoti, tasmad vayum nirodhayet. Beautifully he says. When your breath is fluctuated, naturally your mind will be fluctuated. When your breath has the steadiness, naturally your mind will be having the steadiness. So that's the reason the yogis always, they are trying to control their breath. Why we need the pranayama? In order to control the mind. So that's the reason here, as we are chanting the mantra, unknowingly we are controlling the breath. Not only that, the letters are not only with the breath, they are with the mind. You need to remember the sequence. You need to remember the letters. You need to remember the words. You need to remember the sentence. And then you'll be able to chant. The memorization, the letters are dancing on the mind, and the sound is dancing with the breath. The mind and the breath both are controlled. And that's the reason this is the beautiful technique which has been given to the world by the great sages. It controls the breath and it controls the mind, so that the practice of yoga you'll be able to experience. Let me explain with a small analogy. So most of the time we struggle in this materialistic world. Do you think the world is very bad? Do you think world has the problem? No, you have the problem. So the mind has the problem. Just imagine a same delicious food is tasty for some people. The same food is not tasty for some other people. I like chocolate. My friend doesn't like chocolate. No, like and dislike is not there in the chocolate. This taste is there in the different people. The world is like a chocolate. Some people like, some people hate. So why this hatredness or like will come depending upon your mind? Just imagine you have a bowl of water and you shake the bowl. Then what happens? There will be a lot of waves. And in that waves, if you try to see your face, it looks like a demon. Your face looks like a demon. So just imagine the water doesn't have any waves, and just you try to see your face, it looks as it is. In the same way, when you have the fluctuation in your mind, with that fluctuation, if you're trying to see the world, entire world looks like a demon, terrible. And you don't have any fluctuations, your mind is focused, entire world looks like a heaven, beautiful. So the mantras are helping us to construct the beautiful world for us. So you are able to see the beautiful world even though you are there in the struggle. That is the strength of the mantras. And not only that, every day we take the shower. Because of that, the body get the purity. But mind, from the birth, it has lot of negative thoughts. Because of that, it is stinking. It has lot of dirt inside. When it has lot of dirt, we are not able to be comfortable. There will be a lot of problems. So we cannot take out the mind and wash with the detergent and put it back. It's not possible because mind is not tangible. So that's the reason we use the beautiful technique that is mantra. The mantra washes the dirt of the mind and it gives the purity inside, so that we'll be able to see the beautiful world with the focused mind. That's the strength of the mind. As I told, it may take the episode of the sessions if I talk about the mantras.
My experience as a yoga student has been, at first I was very drawn to asana. I think that happens to everyone. In the first maybe 5 years, I think it's all about asana. And then you keep doing asana and you keep learning more asana, doing that type of practice. At the same time, though, I believe that you start looking for something else. Just doing asana. My experience is that it was not enough. There was something that was missing. Some, could I say background? I'm not sure. Something more substance, maybe something that would help me put all that asana into context. So at the end of the day, I think a very normal question is, why am I doing this? Which is not easy. You know that many people that come to your Vigneshwar, we practice Ashtanga yoga. It's not easy. And it's not like we need a justification, but we need to understand all these things that you were saying, all this idea of purification, this idea of discipline, this idea of awareness. At some point you start, many people, I am one of those people, you start looking beyond the asana. into practices that can give you this inner strength, inner fortitude, which it's something that I found in mantra practice. It's not easy. Because we were talking about accuracy. You need to be accurate. You need to be disciplined. You need to memorize a lot. Okay. The memory bit, it's not easy either. It's a lot of effort on you. But I was curious to know, because you've been teaching, you're in Mysuru, but you also teach many Westerners like me. How do you find us Westerners in mind-wise? How do our minds work, and how you deal with the way how we see the world?
Yes. The beautiful question, being a teacher, from the teacher point of view, I have to speak about this. So I taught the Indians, maybe all the people, I can say, I got the different nationality people, and people are having the different backgrounds and different culture and different tradition, different language. All the people come to me. That's the reason I say every time I'm teaching, I'm learning, because I have the different student to teach. I will be developing the different methodology for the students by looking their expectation, by looking their strength. So always my teacher used to tell that if some student is not able to study, that is not the problem of the student, that's the problem of the teacher. Because teacher should find the different techniques which is suitable for the student. Teacher should not stick with the same technique for everyone. So I have, as I mentioned, both students I have, Indians and Westerns and other places. But I like the effort. People who are trying to, people are putting the effort to learn it. And initially, there are a lot of struggles, there is no doubt. As you have mentioned, the memory, you have to have a lot of memory. So how you will be able to gain the memory? So by practicing, only by practicing, you will be able to gain anything. Just imagine you have a knife. The knife is not sharp enough. You need to make that sharp. Then what you have to do? You have to rub the knife with a stone, which makes the knife even sharper. In the same way, the mind also. So at the beginning, it looks horrible. It looks very difficult. You have the fear. I can't, you think. But later, as you put the effort, you'll start to love it. You'll start to enjoy. Always I give this example to my students. Just imagine you bought a new car. You bought a new car, but you don't know how to drive. When you are sitting in the driving seat without knowing how to drive, you have a lot of fear. And you'll be sweating even though weather is cold because of the tension, because of the kind of the fear. What will happen? Just imagine, with your practice and with the proper guidance, if you learn the car in the same seat, you are sitting and you are enjoying your journey. So after 6 months, the first month, you are having the struggle, your tension. While holding the steering, your hand is shaking. But after 6 months, just imagine you are enjoying your journey. In one hand, you are holding the steering and you are enjoying your journey. In the same way, any practice, at the beginning, mantra practice, there will be the difficulty in the pronunciation. There will be difficulty in the memorization. There will be difficulty in the experience. There will be the difficulty in the implementation. Everywhere will be able to get the difficulty. But finally, it is fruitful. Always we need to remember one formula. What is that? Which is very difficult in our life, that is always useful. Which is very easy in our life, that is always useless. So for example, morning you have to get up 3 o'clock. It's very difficult, but that is very useful. Okay, morning you have to wake up 10 o'clock. It's very easy. Anybody can do. So that's the reason which is difficult in our life, that is always useful. The mantra chanting is very difficult at the beginning, but it's very useful at the end. So all the practices are like that. You take anything, yoga practice, asana practice. Is it easy? It's not easy. So when you are practicing your struggle, complete your asana and stand out of the mat and look at the mat once. What are the things you have practiced? Yeah, I did it. You'll be very happy. So entire day you feel very proud about yourself. Just imagine you stood on the yoga mat and you chanted the invocation prayer. You thought that it's very difficult. Let me do only shavasana, nothing else. So you stopped. And later, do you feel proud about it? Okay, I did not do today. Let me do tomorrow. I should not be like this. I should not be lazy. All my friends are doing. You're crying. So that's the reason which is very difficult. Always it's useful. Anything. But when it comes to the chanting, as you are twisting your body and you are practicing with your body, in the same way, you have to twist your mind and tongue when you're practicing the mantras. That's all.
Yeah, I remember you mentioned an anecdote. Well, I found really funny. It's been I'm not sure if that was, maybe you can clarify now. But when you started teaching, you have been teaching for some, maybe not too long, to Westerners, and then you got in touch with Laruga and David, and they started to promote for you. Can you tell us what happened?
Yes. Maybe I have to go a little bit behind this.
Okay.
When I have completed my Sanskrit studies, I was searching for a job because I was not knowing any other languages. I was knowing only regional language and Sanskrit because all my studies happened in Sanskrit. Writing, speaking, communication, everything was happening in Sanskrit when we were there in the traditional system. So when I come out from that, I was searching for the job for the livelihood, as well as it is my passion. So maybe for the livelihood, I was able to get something, but I was having the thirst to teach because things are here. I want to share with the people. I want to teach, but I was not having the much opportunity. One of my friend, you may know that Alexander Medin. He first he brought me to his house, so he made me stay there, and he supported a lot. Even I was not having the money to pay for the rent, so that was my situation. He helped a lot. I cannot forget him. So then later what happened, I was staying there. Even he was telling all the time, you can teach Westerns. I was teaching in the Ramakrishna mission for the monks, in the Indian philosophy, all these things was happening. But always he was telling that you need to teach. I told I don't know English. So he was able to communicate with me in Sanskrit. We were communicating in Sanskrit sometime. So somehow we became a friend. But he was telling all the time, you need to teach, you need to teach. So what to do? I don't know the language. So one or two people used to come to me. I was teaching some Sanskrit and chanting and all. But what happened, David and Laruga, they were staying in the same house next to my apartment. So my practice is early morning I get up, I chant the Vedas with the loud voice, and so that all the maybe entire street was able to listen my voice there. So these people also used to get up early morning to go to the yoga practice and all. So one day the David met me and we were doing the conversation. I was not able to do the conversation with the language, maybe with the signals and with the some words of English. And he said that so a lot of people are interested to learn chanting and all other things. So you can help them. And even I don't know what price I have to ask and how to conduct and nothing. So there was the huge hall at the top of the house. And he organized, he told just to his friends, maybe then there was like a 40 people, 50 people were there in the class. So my situation was like the Arjuna in the battlefield. My hand was shaking and sound was shaking. I never saw this many people, all the different people. I cannot communicate, just I can make the signal and teach chanting. But I was never satisfied when I'm only teaching chanting. I need to give the proper meaning and what is that, why it is, and how it is. Everything I have to give the clarification, because my lineage or my tradition is like that. My teacher also like that. One letter he is telling, I have to give the clarification on it. So that's how the tradition. So that's the reason the thirst to teach. So it made me speak in some language. Now today I'm able to communicate like this. I'm able to convey my message to the people. So because of the people who helped me from the beginning, maybe Alexander Maiden and later David and Laraga, all these people, there are many people. I cannot name all the people maybe. So that's how the teaching started.
I had no idea that you did not speak English because you're very fluent. That's
Yeah. Because I never studied English in my life. So even still today, if you ask me to write something, I may struggle. I can speak. But when it comes to, because I don't write much in English, I write most of this time in Sanskrit or in my regional language. But still, now I have people, if I want to write a research paper or I want to write maybe book or anything, I just tell that they will start to write and later it will be typed and printed. So that's how it happens.
That's amazing, Vigneshwar. It's all that chanting. It made your mind very alert, very sharp. There is something I think how can I put this? That to Western students, I think it's very shocking for us, which is this concept, this notion of karma. And you see it everywhere in India. You see it in the Yoga Shava, how karma, in terms of what you're able to do or the struggles that you have, how sometimes people say, well, that's your karma. Or when it comes to chanting, if you have trouble memorizing or if you have trouble with discipline or with making time, many times they will say, well, that's your karma. Or in your case, you were not very interested in chanting when you were younger, but you happened to be in a family or be born in a family that supported the chanting and this type of practices. And so I would like to ask you about karma in general. How this karma notion plays out in our lives? Yeah, just take it as you wish.
Yeah. So I don't want to make very complicated because this question is very complicated. The concept of the karma is not easy. So there are 3-4 philosophies which are all trying to give the clarification of the karma. So, but with the logic, let us try to understand what this karma. You believe or you don't believe, but you are depending upon the concept of the karma. So whether you believe or you don't believe, but still you are depending upon the karma. Just imagine, I know about the wind, but I don't know oxygen, carbon dioxide, and all other different types of air. So that is the part of the air. When you make the division in the air, you have the different the categories. The scientist or the doctor says that you are inhaling with the oxygen and exhaling with the carbon dioxide. The doctor says or the scientist says, I agree with that point because for me, I am inhaling wind and exhaling wind. That's all I know. So you ask the common person who doesn't know about the different, the part of the wind, the person says that that is just air. In the same way, the force, there are different forces behind us. So those forces are categorized in the different way. There are some scientists, there are some great sages who found this technique, who discovered these ideas, who discovered this fact. So they give the clarity on it. Just imagine you go to the doctor. Doctor is really depending upon your karma to give the medicine. But he is only depending upon the karma which is very recent. He is not talking about the previous birth or other things. He is depending upon the very previous, the karma. So what is that? He asks, did you go for anywhere? Did you do the traveling recently? And did you have the junk food? And did you stay with the sick people? So all this counseling happens in first way. And after that, if he is not able to get the clarity, then he takes the blood. In the blood, what karma is enshrined, that he sees. And in the body, he does the checkup. So in all the checkups, he is trying to see the influence of the previous things. So bacteria effect, that is not happening now, that happened already. So he is trying to see all these things. So doctor also depending on the karma, but in the frame, he has the frame. So he cannot go beyond this. So doctor says that why this bacteria came. I mean, what bacteria came, doctor says. But doctor cannot say why this bacteria came. The theory of karma, even it goes to the root. So each and every action has to have the cause. Without cause, effect is not there. The science believe that. Everybody we believe that without cause, there will be no effect. If there is the effect, you have to guess the cause. In the same way, just imagine we are many people in the world. And why we are different? So everybody are unique. In my house, we are 4 members. All the 4 members, we are unique. We have same food, we have same water, we have same environment, we have same education, we are having the same people around us, everything is same. Why we are different? Because of the karma. You take the example of the twin children. So they are extremely different. They are same mother, same father, same date of birth, same food, same milk, same medicine, everything is same. Why they are unique? So maybe the science says DNA or genes. So why that DNA or genes affected them in that way? So the investigation goes to the root. When you go to the root, only the theory of the karma will help you. Most of the time I say, the hell and heaven concept we experience here itself, it is not somewhere. So depending upon the karma, just imagine there is the beggar and doesn't have the eyes and the ear and the handicap, not possible to eat and do anything. You ask, what is this? He says, this is hell. My life is hell. So he is experiencing the hell there itself. If you ask the question why that person is struggling like that, you don't get any answer. The doctor may say that the mother was having the deficiency of the vitamin or something else. Doctor says that's all. Why mother was having the vitamin deficiency? That problem. So then we have to go to the concept of the karma. So everything is decided on the karma. But thinking that we need not keep quiet. Okay, everything happens because of the karma. Why we have to do the things? Let us be calm. Not like that. There are different levels of the karma. So there is the karma called agami karma. There is the karma called sanchita karma. There is the karma called prarabdha karma. So there's the prarabdha karma which already started while getting the birth itself. So that cannot be changed. I born in this country with this black hair, with this skin and with this parents, so that I cannot change. It's already started. So whatever started prarabdha karma, this body I cannot change. And this body has the validity. So that validity also I cannot change. So all these things are prarabdha karma. And sanchita karma. Today I am able to see, I am able to sit here and I am able to talk to you. I studied this, maybe there is some karma which forced me to up to this level. And then the agami karma. So with this body and in this life, whatever I am accumulating, that is called as agami karma. The sanchita karma and agami karma we can modify. Just imagine you have the big tank of the water, the big tank of the water. You cannot able to move that, but full of tank is dirty. Full of tank is dirty. Now you want to make that tank the pure. How you will be able to do it? So you pour the pure water again and again, again and again, again and again. Then what happens? All the dirt will start to come up, come up, come up. And that dirt will be diluted in the first level. Then you continue pouring the pure water. Then what happens? All the dirt will start to flow out of the tank. And one fine day, only the pure water remains. Maybe in the previous life, we are having the negative karma or negativity. In this life, do the good things and selfless service, supporting the people, being with the good concepts, and always pray that utilize this body for the good reasons. So I got this body and utilize this body for the good reasons. So this is just the tool. So it should be used for the good reasons. Then naturally what happens? The purification happens. So then we have only the positive karma. So theory of the karma is the very huge, but with one analogy, I will try to conclude the concept about the karma. So the karma is kind of the force or the kind of the essence which is always there with you, which is taking you to the next level. For example, you are eating a junk food. While eating the junk food, you are enjoying, but effect you are experiencing tomorrow. So when you are experiencing the problem tomorrow, you don't remember why this is coming to me. So yesterday's essence is there within you that is affecting you to struggle. So in the same way, if I am struggling today, for my struggle, nobody else is the cause. I have done something to struggle. And if I am very happy today, nobody else is cause for this. I have done some action, good action that is making me be happy. So with this analogy, we'll be able to understand the concept of the karma.
Many times when we think of karma, we have this misconception as if we were helpless. It's something that you can do nothing about it. It's my karma. And as you said,
so actually karma is there in our hand. It is not the fate or decided destiny. So it is not decided destiny. It is actually in our hand. As I told the example of the impure tank, you can make that pure by pouring the good things. It's there in our hand.
Well, every time you there's this common root. It's something that I find very helpful. This idea of purification that you get in yogas and then you get when you practice pranayama, when you do chanting. There is always this idea of purification. It always, well, I always think of this ghee. I know we have ghee when I go to India. I never have ghee here back in my country, but it's like clarified butter. You boil it until it becomes ghee, the butter, right? And so it's, to me, that's a metaphor that I probably copied from someone, probably from you. But I don't. I heard it somewhere, but I thought it was brilliant. Well, it was very so true. But it's true, Vigneshwar, that this idea of purification is always there, and all this disciplines that we do, all this asana, this chanting, this studying philosophy, there's this idea of getting rid of impurities in the mind,
And
the body.
here, somebody asked me the question. You say that if you practice asana, pranayama, or the meditation, you will be purified. The purity will come. So, what is the result of the purity? So, how can I recognize myself I'm pure or not? So that was the question asked by somebody. I thought it's very interesting question, because everybody say that you practice this, you'll get purity. But nobody says that you are pure today or purity happened or what is the experience of the purity. Always I say that the purity you'll be able to experience when your ego, jealous and detachment is melting down. So as your practice grows up, naturally all these kind of things should melt down. Usually what happens in the education field, as you study, along with the knowledge, the ego also goes up. So that is the common thing of the human beings. So when you are starting, maybe, I don't know, in the yoga field, maybe there might be the competition. I'm there in the first series. I completed the fourth series. I'm little great. So the thing, if it is moving up, so the purity is not happening. Only with the practice you're attached. You're not able to use the practice to purify yourself. So as you're getting purity, humbleness, the kindness, truthfulness, empathy, compassion, down to earth, all these things will start to flow within you. There's a beautiful say in the philosophy. Shastran yadhityapi bhavanti murkhaha. As you are studying, you will become foolish. Intellectually, as you are studying, you will become foolish. Whatever you have studied, if you implement in your life, you will become wise. Studying theoretically, it's easy. But whatever you have studied theoretically, if you practice or implement in your life, that makes you wise. People get ego if they are intellectually very strong. People will become wise if they are having the experience of their intellectual property. So that's the reason in the scripture always say that if you want to teach something, first you get the experience and talk about that. So the purity will take you to the experience and melts your all the unwanted things of the life.
Yeah, it's something I see. I see it in myself. I see it in students, especially in the West. Our mind, our rational mind, it's very, very strong. Our intellect is very, I don't know if I should call it intellect. But hopefully you get what I'm trying to say. The mind is very strong. We are very analytical. We want to know the reasons for everything. But we always live here in the mind. Something that we can't explain. It's really, we just don't get it. We feel disoriented, we freak out, we don't know what to do. And it's that experience to something that spirituality demands, but it's going to change everything. And you see it in, for example, in chanting. When even if you look up like the meaning of the chant, you don't get much. Like you just browse the meaning on the internet from a chant, you're just gonna get some description of some figure that you're not even familiar with. So you're not getting anything out of it. You need someone that shows you the true meaning of relevance, I think.
Definitely. Just imagine the tiger is there in front of you. What is the feeling? The fear. Okay, when the tiger is there in front of you, you have the fear. And just imagine there's the tiger toy in front of you. What happens? So you will be not having any kind of fear. You just will go and put your hand on the tiger. I mean, toy. In the same way, when you are the learning in just with the script, or you're just learning with the YouTube, or just listening or trying to find the meaning, it is just like a standing with the tiger toy. So that is not the proper experience.
Yeah.
When you are learning with a proper person who guides you in the proper way, it is a real feeling.
Yeah.
Maybe it is just like a looking the chocolate with the eyes, trying to experience the taste, and putting the chocolate on the tongue and experiencing the taste.
Yeah.
Studying with the person, it is putting the chocolate on the tongue and tasting the chocolate. And learning with the just the script, holding and finding the things in the internet and all, it is just like a maybe looking the chocolate and trying to taste it. So that's the reason always in our tradition they say, our teachers used to tell that at the beginning you have to have the proper teacher who can give the proper techniques to learn, because all of us, we are unique. We need to have the proper guidance in this. Many times people say, I practice this chanting, or I practice this ritual, or I practice this kind of meditation, but I did not get any result. That is not the problem of the practice, that is the problem of the practitioner.
Yeah.
So if you take the example, if you develop any website or the software programming, if you miss one dot or one space, output will be error. So you will not get the real output. In the same way, when you are not having the proper practice, you are not able to experience the expected result. Then we say that practice is wrong. Practice is not wrong. The practitioner is wrong.
You go back to the accuracy, the idea
Yes.
of accurate, which when you're chanting, you definitely start to understand. When you experience it, when you do it, you definitely.
Anything, not only chanting, asana, pranayama, dhyana, anything, everywhere we have to have the accuracy. 100% accuracy is not possible, but our journey should be towards the accuracy.
Vigneshwar, I am mindful of the time, so I know that you wake up very early and it's maybe 8 p.m. for you. So I would like to let you go to sleep and enjoy your evening. But before we do, for people listening, what would you, if there's one thing that you would like them to remember, what would that thing be?
So the thing is, don't, I say that anything, don't practice, live with that. So anything, asana, pranayama, chanting, or any practice, and whatever action you are doing, you are able to find yoga in it. So that's possible. In Gita, it is beautifully told. So swadharme nidhanashreyaha paradharmo bhayavaha. You can find the spiritual practice, what you are practicing in that. Maybe you are servant in a hotel, in your action you can find the yoga. You are maybe the good singer, you are able to find the yoga in it. But only the thing is dedication, as well as the commitment and accuracy. So it's very important.
And the presence, because if you, every time I'm chanting, if I start thinking of my grocery list, I lose it.
Yes.
I need to be like 100% invested.
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Vigneshwar, you are a delight to listen to. Thank you so much for making room for us. It was really nice to have you. How can people reach out to you, or how can people find you? If there is any way.
People can find me through the Facebook or WhatsApp. Still, I don't have a website, to be honest, because the people are, without having that also, people are trying to reach me. So when they are reach me, definitely I can say they are not coming through the website. They are finding me through their dedication. So they are reaching to me. Then I can directly, I can accept them. And most of the time, people are coming to me through the recommendation. For example, you are learning with me and you will be sending a friend. Okay, so this person is my student's friend, I can trust. So directly, I don't take the people maybe who are directly contacting me. I need some recommendation of my own students, then it's easier to take them. So that's how the connection happens most of the time.
That's fantastic to have a nice method in place, nice system in place. Beautiful network. All right, Vigneshwar, thank you again for being here with us today. I hope to see you in Mysuru again soon, but until then, I will see you online. It's one of the silver after COVID. We got everyone now is hyper connected. Thank you so much. And
it's my pleasure.
see
Thank you for this platform.
No problem, Vigneshwar.
Thank you.
I'll see you tomorrow.